The Dark Queen of the Black Forest. Once upon a time in the deep, dark black forest, where the trees were so dense that hardly a ray of sunlight reached the forest floor. In the middle of this impenetrable forest stood an old, dilapidated fortress surrounded by a gloomy aura. This fortress was the home of the Dark Queen, a woman of indescribable beauty and infinite sadness. The Dark Queen, whose name had long been forgotten, was once a young woman named Alara. She lived in a small village on the edge of the Black Forest and was known for her kindness and radiant smile. Alara fell in love with a young man named Alaric, a brave hunter who captured her heart. Their love was pure and strong, and they dreamed of a future together. But fate had other plans. One day, when Alaric was hunting, he was attacked by a wild beast and seriously injured. Alara nursed him with all her love and devotion, but his wounds were too severe and he died in her arms. Alara was inconsolable and her heart broke into 1,000 pieces. In desperation, she turned to an old witch who lived deep in the forest. She asked the witch to bring Alaric back to life, but the witch could not do this. Instead, she offered Alara another way, a curse that would give her the power to seduce and control others to ease her loneliness. In her grief and desperation, Alara accepted the offer without considering the consequences. The witch cast the curse and Alara turned into the Dark Queen. Her beauty became even more radiant, but her heart remained broken. She was given the power to seduce wanderers who strayed into the Black Forest and make them her servants. These servants had to work in her fortress for all eternity, unable to escape her. The years passed, and the Dark Queen became a legend. Wanderers who entered the forest were warned to stay away from the fortress, but many ignored the warnings and fell victim to the Queen. She lived in constant solitude, surrounded by servants who did not love her and whom she could not love. One day, however, a young man named Leon entered the forest. He was looking for adventure and had heard of the legend of the Dark Queen. Despite the warnings, he decided to find the fortress and meet the Queen. When he reached the fortress, he was overwhelmed by the Queen's beauty. But instead of being seduced by her, he saw the pain in her eyes and felt the broken heart she hid. Leon was different from the others. He was compassionate and determined to help the Queen. He talked to her, heard her story, and promised to find a way to break the curse. The Dark Queen, who had not found comfort for centuries, began to find hope. Leon spent many months in the fortress, searching for ancient writings and speaking to the servants who had once been humans like him. Eventually he found a reference to an ancient spell that could break the curse. But the spell required a great sacrifice. Leon had to give his own life to free the Queen. Without hesitation, Leon decided to make the sacrifice. He cast the spell, and in a bright flash of light, the curse was broken. The Dark Queen turned back into Alara, and the servants were freed. But Leon lay lifeless on the ground, his sacrifice having cost him his life. Alara, now free of the curse, knelt next to Leon and wept. She had finally found peace, but the price was high. She buried Leon in the fortress garden and planted a rose on his grave that would bloom forever, as a sign of his love and sacrifice. The legend of the Dark Queen faded over time, but the story of Alara and Leon continued to be told in the village. It taught people that true love and compassion can break even the darkest curses. And so Alara, freed from her curse, lived in peace, but the memory of Leon and his sacrifice remained in her heart forever.